What was the most satisfying revenge you've gotten on an ex? I'd been engaged for 7 months. In mid-November, I learned my fiancé Sam had been cheating on me for 6 months. I discovered this by accident. My phone died and I needed to Google something, so I grabbed his iPad, which I hadn't used in a while. Sam has iMessage, so all his messages are synced to the iPad's message app. I saw everything. Texts, pictures, videos. I saw it all. His side chick was a mutual friend of ours, Madison, who'd been in our home, had dinner with us, and was even a potential bridesmaid for our wedding. I spent days reading through everything. She was pregnant. He'd also been sending her money from our saving for a bigger apartment fund. I was devastated. I cried so hard I thought I'd throw up. But what really got me were the things they said about me. They mocked me, ridiculed me, and belittled me. They joked about how I was the oblivious idiot fiancé who was so stupid. Madison would text me, chatting about wedding planning, then screenshot the messages and send them to Sam, laughing about how stupid I was. There was so much more, and far more vicious. I was gobsmacked, betrayed. I felt like the meanest girls from high school were standing over me, laughing while I cried. But more than anything, I was more confused. And who the bloody hell was this person pretending to be my Sam? Now I realized I'd only seen one side of him. For 3 years, Madison had actively been pushing Sam to dump me. She suggested he do so the day after Christmas, after we'd returned home from seeing his family. When I read that particular message, something inside me snapped. I'd been snickered all my life for being the poor kid in a wealthy school, for being a fat kid and teenager, for being an ugly duckling, for always having older, out-of-date things, for being quiet, for being an unphotogenic teenager. I was not going to be humiliated. Not again, and not like this. So I thought ahead. Sam had been out of town when I discovered the messages, so I had a few days to pull myself together. For the next month and a half, I pretended everything was fine. I was alarmingly good at it. Soon my feelings toward him hardened until my initial devastation was gone and replaced by nothing. I'd wait until I was alone to read through his iPad, always putting it back in the same position in his bottom drawer. He never suspected anything, and never changed his passcode. I collected the most telling evidence, the most explicit messages, the most vicious ones towards me, the ones mentioning the money, the ultrasound photos. I sent them all to myself and covered my tracks. Christmas comes. We arrived at his parents' house on Christmas morning with plans to spend the night. I spent the day watching that cheating, mocking, money-laundering scumbag have a lovely Christmas. He kissed me goodnight and whispered in my ear how much he loved me. The next morning, before we all sat down for breakfast, I sent every single piece of the evidence to his mother, and his father, and his 2 siblings, and 3 of his cousins. Any family member whose contact I had received it. I was able to time this because Sam's family is pretty phone addicted, and they all get email notifications. My dear listeners, I wish you could have witnessed the scene which befell that house. The weasel couldn't even face his own family. He ran outside and had to be cornered. His brother dragged him by his hair back into the house, but I didn't stay for that. I said my goodbyes to his family, reassured them this wasn't their fault, thanked them for everything, and left. That was 6 days ago. I changed the lock on our apartment, sold the ring, put all his things in trash bags, and put them outside the gate to our apartment complex with the iPad on top. He's currently staying with a friend, as none of his family in town will speak to him, and he can't afford a hotel indefinitely. And don't worry about Madison. I didn't forget about her. I sent everything to her mother, with whom she still lives with,